What's up, everyone? Tara Roberts here with Fantasy Pros with my top 10 waiver wire ads for week 10. But before we get started, if you want a chance to win a signed Amari Cooper Cleveland Browns jersey courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction, you need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video and that's it. Make sure to turn on those notifications so you know when new videos drop and to find out if you've won. Now let's go ahead and dive right in. Number 10, Dontrell Hilliard. This is a strange week for waiver wire ads because there aren't many huge standouts or must ads, so a good bit of this list is going to be focused on reinforcing your team for the long haul. Dontrell Hilliard is a good long-term investment that could pay off. Tennessee is an extremely run-heavy team. Heading into week 9, they had the least amount of pass attempts in the league, tied with Chicago at 160 attempts. And we have evidence from 2021 that even if Derrick Henry were to go down, they will not, under any circumstance, become a pass-heavy offense. Hilliard is a high upside handcuff in an offense that is truly committed to the run. And Hilliard does offer pass-catching upside as well. He is worthy of a roster as a handcuff. Number 9, Rachaad White. Let's stay on the handcuff train and talk about Rachaad White. Once again, I am asking you to roster Rachaad White as the clear and direct handcuff to Leonard Fournette. The Bucs have shown confidence in White on the ground and as a pass-catching back, and he possesses all the skills to be the lead back of this specific offense if Leonard Fournette goes down. On Sunday, White had 8 carries for 27 yards and 3 receptions for 7 yards. It mirrors Leonard Fournette's work. The upcoming schedule for Tampa Bay is a bit shaky, but if you are looking for a good handcuff that would operate as a lead back rather than falling into a committee, White is a good option. Number 8, DeAndre Carter. The Chargers offense is funneling aggressively through Austin Eckler, and I don't see that changing. But Justin Herbert is still throwing for high volume. Heading into week 9, they were a top 5 offense in total pass attempts. And they will likely continue to pass for high volume despite the fact that they're without Mike Williams for several more weeks and Keenan Allen, who re-aggravated his hamstring injury and missed week 9. Josh Palmer was the wide receiver 1, but Carter had a solid day of 5 receptions on 6 targets for 53 yards. Carter should have low-end flex value as long as both Allen and Williams are out. Number 7, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard missed 2 weeks with an ankle injury, but don't let that lull you into thinking he is not worth a roster. When Hubbard is healthy, he'll likely return to a solid role in the Panthers' backfield. Carolina was very clear that they wanted to operate a committee when Christian McCaffrey was traded. And in week 7, that is exactly what they had until Hubbard went down with the injury. Hubbard had 9 carries for 63 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 receptions. And while he may take a back seat to Donta Foreman, he won't be irrelevant. He'll have weekly flex value, and the Panthers' upcoming schedule does include some very good matchups. Hubbard is worth a roster. Number 6, Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely plays on Monday night, well after I filmed this video, so this is a speculative ad. The downside to Isaiah Likely is that the Ravens have a bye week, and that gives Mark Andrews extra time to heal up. But the upside is that if he puts up strong numbers on Monday night, this could justify the Ravens using him alongside Mark Andrews because the Ravens are in need of reliable pass catchers. Rashad Bateman is out for the year, and the Ravens were already relatively thin at wide receiver after not replacing Marquise Brown in the offseason. In week 8, Likely had 6 receptions on 7 targets for 77 yards and a touchdown. Likely is one of those tight ends who is really more of a receiver, and the Ravens' offense would benefit from having both Andrews and Likely on the field together. Number 5, Terrace Marshall. While Sunday's numbers weren't extremely impressive, Terrace Marshall's week 9 production was an excellent sign that he is worthy of a roster. Marshall emerged from legitimately nowhere in week 7 with a snap count double his typical usage. And it was possible that his increased production was tied to PJ Walker. But in week 9, Walker was shockingly awful, completing only 3 passes for 9 yards and 2 interceptions before being pulled for Baker Mayfield. But despite the quarterback change, Marshall remained a prominent part of the Panthers' offense and connected with Baker Mayfield for a touchdown, and was the Panthers' leading receiver. Marshall has asserted himself as the clear wide receiver 2 for the Panthers, and given the upcoming schedule of Atlanta and Baltimore plus a few good matchups after the bye, Marshall can be a weekly flex option. Number 4, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Grab Donovan Peoples-Jones now because it is very possible he is the next hot waiver wire ad. Peoples-Jones has a fantastic upcoming matchup against a Miami defense that allowed the 10th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers heading into Week 9, and gave up a huge game to Justin Fields. Even with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, this could be Peoples-Jones' best game of the year. He's been a solid, steady contributor, scoring double-digit fantasy points in PPR in 4 of the last 5 games. He's had a decent floor with limited upside, but that could change very soon because Deshaun Watson is scheduled to come back in Week 13 against Houston. So Peoples-Jones will be a Week 10 streaming option that you can stash for a few weeks until Watson's debut. He could pay off in a playoff run. Number 4, Greg Dulcich. Greg Dulcich is the tight end 1 for the Denver Broncos. That is unquestioned. Dulcich made his debut in Week 6 and has had double-digit fantasy points in PPR in every single game. No other tight end received a target in Week 8, with Dulcich catching 4 of his 6 targets for 87 yards, making him the leading pass catcher for the Broncos in Week 8. People might be worried about making their starting tight end a pass catcher from the Broncos, and I get that. But the Broncos' upcoming schedule is juicy. Tennessee, Las Vegas, Carolina, Baltimore, Kansas City. Better days are ahead for the Broncos offense, and Dulcich should be a big beneficiary. Number 2, Mecole Hardman. I am writing this waiver wire list as the Sunday night game is finishing up, but I've seen more than enough to say you should add Mecole Hardman. I was mildly concerned that the introduction of Kadarius Toney would hurt the workload for Hardman, but Hardman's role remained untouched. I can't give you the final stat line since the game is still going on, but Hardman was a consistent look for Patrick Mahomes, and they connected on a touchdown. Hardman has had double-digit fantasy points 4 games in a row after a shaky start to the season. He's been involved in the return game for those who have leagues that include return yards, and Hardman has shown enough consistency to be a weekly flex option. Number 1, Jeff Wilson Jr. I am cheating a bit here because I keep my waiver wire pickups list to under 50% rostered in Yahoo leagues, and Jeff Wilson is 51% rostered. But this is very important, so I'm making a 1% exception. In his first game with Miami, Jeff Wilson had 9 carries for 51 yards and 3 receptions for 21 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Mostert had 9 carries for 26 yards and a touchdown. This is extremely important to note because if Wilson is on waivers, you need to grab him immediately. It's a significant statement that he immediately split the backfield in his first game. It says a lot that Mike McDaniel had this level of confidence in him, and Wilson fits so perfectly into his scheme. With Chase Edmonds, this backfield clearly belonged to Raheem Mostert. But things are getting a little bit blurry right now. Wilson should have a critical role in one of the league's most potent offenses and must be rostered. Thanks for watching this video. And remember, if you want a chance to win a signed Amari Cooper Cleveland Browns jersey courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction, you need to subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video and that's it. Make sure to turn on notifications to know when new videos drop and to find out if you've won.
Thanks for tuning in to the FantasyPros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at FantasyPros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.